and welcome back to part 122. We have all of the heart pieces we need to get from the first two areas and from Romani Ranch. So now we're gonna head off to the third area of the game to grab a couple more heart pieces. But first we need to go to Clocktown, and get ourselves another Scarecrow's song for this cycle, as well as water and beans, which we're actually gonna go to the swamp to get. The next heart piece is one of those ones that annoyed me as a kid, because it's one of those ones, well, it's like the one in Snowhead where you need the Scarecrow's song. It always irritated me because, you know, when I was a kid I would get the Snowhead and go, oh, I need the Scarecrow's song, and then I would get annoyed because I didn't feel like going back to Clocktown. Same thing with buying beans, since this game isn't like Ocarina of Time where you can just buy a ton of beans and just stockpile them. You end up losing them every time you save the game, so it's a bit of a pain in the ass. You never really think to buy beans because they're so rarely used. Anyway, that's enough complaining. We're gonna play this guy Zelda's Lullaby, plus 2 notes. The best song ever, right? Fucking masterpiece, that's what that is. Anyway. Can I get water from here, actually? I think I am able to. I'm really not sure. I got a fish, that's odd. That's really odd, actually. Does that water even go anywhere? Just like, it looks like it's going somewhere. It has a current. Just, I guess there's like a pipe under there. Where the hell does that water come from? Zelda logic, right? You got a shop that has a little river going through it that has fish in it. And you're not charged for the fish, you can just take them. That's very bizarre, but anyway. And again, this is the universe where you can go inside people's houses and smash their pots, and nobody cares, right? So, whatever. Anyway, yeah, we're going to the swamp now. I guess we're gonna get our water here, whatever. Even though this water should be poisonous, whatever. That apparently doesn't make a difference to the bean sprout. So yeah, as I said, these are heart pieces I should have gotten while I was in the third area of the game, doing the dungeon and all that, but I forgot, so. Oh yeah, and this guy only sells magic beans to Deku Sprouts. If you're not a Deku Sprout, Deku Scrub rather, he doesn't offer to sell you beans. He's really annoying that way. He's just trying to pester you for paper, if you know what I mean. And you probably don't. Paper. I just sound like a weird drug addict. Anyway. Hope you enjoyed that little song. So anyway, now we're back in Great Bay. Swim back to around where the Pirate's Fortress is, and yeah, there's a heart piece over here that you need to get a bean sprout and the Scarecrow's song for, so it's a double whammy for annoyance. And don't get eaten by the like. I am not a fan of likes. Actually, I am. Likes are like one of my favorite enemies. I like how they're like likes, you know, like. Ha, that was my attempt at humor. Anyway, and I still can't do the Zora jump because I'm terrible at doing that. But regardless, okay, I can't jump up simple ledges either. It's great. Thank you, Link. You're really helping. There should be a hookshot target. Oh, there it is. Yeah, there's a hookshot target up here. It's kind of like the trees that head to the beaver place, which we're also going to in this part, by the way. And, yeah, basically you just go from target to target. Eventually you plant a bean, then you play the Scarecrow song, and then there's a piece of heart. Oh, the joy. It's very exciting. So, yeah, I don't know. Maybe I should talk about my dog more. You want to hear about my dog? The way I got the dog that was peeing blood anyway. I'm not going to talk about my other dogs because they're a little bit too personal of backstories on those ones, but that dog that I keep mentioning in this playthrough, we got him from an abusive family that he was in, who used to be our next door neighbors back when we lived in, like, me and my mother, that is. We lived in, like, the shittiest part of town. It was, like, the poor district of town. And we had some really horrible neighbors that had that dog, and they didn't feed him or anything. They just locked him out on their porch all the time. So I would buy food and feed the dog. And then whenever they left, they bold-facedly told us that they were just going to leave the dog there to die whenever they moved out of the rented place. I don't know why I laughed there. That was horrible. But anyway, yeah, so we ended up just taking the dog instead of leaving it there to die. And for the first several years, the dog was terrified. We moved like every several months because we were dirt poor. But every single time we moved, the dog was terrified because he always thought he was going to be left behind. Anytime someone's voice was raised in the slightest, he would hide under the bed. Like if I yelled at a video game or something, he would hide under the bed, or anything at all. But yeah, after years of love and attention, he's finally cheered up quite a bit. So, you know, there's a story for you. I love dogs, right? So, anyway, I'm going to speed up this next part, because all I'm doing is going back to the beaver's place. Yeah, this is a part I definitely should have handled whenever I was here the first time, but I completely forgot. Whenever you race the beavers, you know, you race them twice, you get a bottle. You're supposed to race them twice again afterwards to get a piece of heart. I really should have done that, but I completely forgot about it, which is why I didn't do it a long time ago. So I'm actually going to have to race the beavers. Oh, excuse me, I'm burping here. I'm going to have to race the beavers 4 times in this part, which is really annoying, but oh well. Hey, we got a red rupee. Not bad. Anyway. At least it's not as bad as the Goron races. It's all, you know, it's above board and everything. It's not no rubber band AI or anything. Well, it's not a race, so. The only annoying thing about it is that, you know, the rings are solid, as I kept complaining about whenever I did it. But other than that, it's not a big deal. The time limit is fairly lenient. You just swim through hoops, etc., etc. I'm speeding through the first 2 rounds because you already saw me do this. You really don't have to see it again. And it's not going so fast that you can't get the gist of what I'm doing anyway, right? It's not like I'm going through dialogue or something. I'm just swimming through hoops. It's very exciting. So yeah, but let me challenge the brother, blah, 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 blah. Yeah. Sorry if these parts aren't particularly interesting. I wanted to do the heart pieces before I went to Stone Tower Temple, so that the playthrough would end on a slightly more exciting note, but, you know, that huge delay I did halfway through, which, sorry about that, that was very crappy of me to do, but, you know, that delay kind of threw off my entire plan for this playthrough, so whatever. We're almost there, though. So there, instead of getting a bottle, you get a red rupee, then go back and challenge them again, and then you'll get a piece of heart. Not much of a strategy. You basically just do the exact same thing again, but you have slightly less time to do it. So hold down the A button and tilt the control stick left, right, up, down. I really don't have to explain it, I hope. It's really easy. Yeah. We'll race, even though there's no race involved because they always get first place. It probably is possible to get ahead of them, I don't know, but they go pretty damn fast, and I don't care. Actually, maybe it isn't possible to get ahead of them. They really do seem to be going very fast. I have no idea. Oh well, whatever. Some very blurry textures on the walls there. Speaking of which, there were people who, I said earlier on in the Stone Tower Temple that I asked whether people would prefer this game in Wind Waker graphics or Twilight Princess graphics, and a lot of people kept saying they like the game the way it is. That's not really what I meant. I don't know if I gave across the impression that I don't like the way the game looks. That's definitely not true. This is definitely like one of, if not the best looking N64 game. It almost looks like a GameCube game if it weren't so, you know, blocky at parts and some blurry textures, but It's almost good enough to be a GameCube game. It has some really beautiful environments. Don't get me wrong, this is a really gorgeous game. I was just asking, like, in theory, if it were remade in one of those art styles, which one would you prefer? And it seemed like the people who didn't just say that they wanted it to be like this, most people said Twilight Princess, I think, or at least one person said that, I don't know. There weren't too many comments. I'm not the most popular person on YouTube, but I don't know. That was just food for thought. Whatever. I do kind of notice some of the new graphics in this game, like these beavers, they look a lot more cartoony than the graphics taken from Ocarina of Time. And I also noticed in Twilight Princess, at the beginning of the game, it seemed like the enemies that you meet earlier on seem more cartoony than the ones you meet later. It's almost like Nintendo had to get used to their art style. Like the end of Majora's Mask gets more like Wind Waker, and the beginning of Twilight Princess is more like Wind Waker. And wow, I'm messing up right off the bat. I'm probably wrong though, because I have no reason to believe that the enemies at the beginning were designed first. There's no reason that they would do that. Maybe they did. I have no idea. But I don't know. That was just an observation I had throughout the whole thing. I don't know. I'm still not the biggest fan of Twilight Princess. I criticized it in a lot of parts. I don't like it that much. It's nothing but dungeons. There's not really anything between the dungeons. And a lot of my favorite enemies get completely, like, nonced. Like, are there even like-likes in that game? I don't remember. If there are like-likes, they're not memorable, because I don't remember them. And, the re-deads are complete garbage. They're even, like, they weren't that great in Wind Waker either, but they're complete garbage in Twilight Princess. They're not remotely scary, amongst other things. I'm just not a big fan of that game in general. It's like it tries to ride off some things from from Majora's Mask. Like, it tries to have a darker tone, and it has transformations, but it doesn't come across well to me. Majora's Mask is much, much better at being dark and at having transformations. It doesn't just have one. You know, and the one that's in, you know, all the ones that are in Majora's Mask are used, like, frequently, and they're used well, unlike the wolf in Twilight Princess, which is, like, barely used. Wow, am I actually gonna lose this? Eek. There we go. Less than a second left. Fag balls never loses, right? So yeah, since they already gave us a bottle, or in this case, red rupee, instead we get a piece of heart. And now we have a new heart container. We almost have all the heart containers in this game. We have 17 out of 20, which is pretty damn good if I do say so myself. And I have no idea what happens if you race them for a third time. But yeah, I'll see you in the next part.